All right, ladies and gentlemen of Speed Gaming, welcome to the last of three Super Metroid Tournament finals. Tonight we have our final for any percent, the only traditional speedrun tournament that we had in the event. Very excited about the race tonight between Zoast and LynxX Unlimited. I am joined tonight by Apathy Duck on the commentary. My name is Kip. Duck, what's going on, man?
Not much. Looking forward to this one. Yeah, two of the top runners of this category. You got, of course, Zost, world record holder, obviously the favorite in this one, and then Lynx X Unlimited, also a very very good runner. He's got a PB of a 42.06, I believe, somewhere in that low 42.0x range. Barely beat a real cutie in the last round. Unfortunately, there were some stream issues of that one. Probably would have been the race of the tournament. Lynx winning that by 6 seconds in the end. So disappointing that we didn't really get to see it, but should be a good one here too. Zos put up a 42-36, I believe, against Sloters in his last match.
Yeah,
Um,
with safeties on top of that.
yeah, me and Andrew were talking about that. That might have been the 22% world record because he picked up 25 missiles, kind of surprising us in that
I
one.
had no doubt about that. He also beat a pretty, crazy a bunch of names, a bunch of big names to get here. I think in the round of 16 he beat Azure, round of 8 he beat Aussie, and then round of 4 he beat Sloters, and then tonight he'll be racing Lynx. I think just about everybody here knows who Zost is. I do want to give a shout out to Lynx here for anyone who doesn't follow Super Metroid speedrunning, really closely. Lynx is a fantastic runner. He's got our fastest time that hasn't quite made it to the 41 threshold yet. And 41, if this had been, even just like a couple years ago, that would be enough to be world record probably. So he's a very, very good runner. Highly recommend that you go give him a follow. And then also, if you are into Super Metroid speedrunning in terms of doing it yourself, he's a great guy to study. I'm a big fan of studying multiple people and learning different ways of doing strats, and he's a good one to study. So I'm really looking forward to this race. He beat me in the quarterfinals, and then he beat Cutie, who is another one of our elite runners, in the final four. So this is going to be a great race.
Yeah, I mean either one. He said beat a lot of big names. This tournament was stacked. I ended up missing it due to some unfortunate qualifying issues, but like I would have been just destroyed in this. The amount of I mean it was only I think a 16-person tournament, right? So it was just when you only have 16 people, you get some really really good people in there. Like
Yeah,
you
and we
said,
had a really good qualifier too. So yeah, we ended up with some real good competition in this one.
yeah. So a little bit of a short tournament, but there was a lot of really good names in it. Like I said, there's, Lynx is 6 overall. Zost obviously number 1. There's a good bit of difference between those two. Like I said, with Zost running a 42-36 with Kraid second in his last run. Be interesting to see if he chooses to do Kraid again. We didn't get to interview him last time, so I wasn't sure if that was his plan from the start, or you can kind of make the audible halfway through your run if you're paying attention to your opponent. So interesting to see what he does here. I expect at least 20 missiles, though. I really don't see 15 in like a race setting,
No, for sure.
which you
I
normally would do.
totally agree. We'll most certainly see some, you know, they're kind of called safeties, but it's not really necessarily safety in the traditional sense. I mean, like, um, they're not going to add some drastic amount of time to the run or anything like that. Sometimes it's just that, in the world record attempts, especially for guys at this level, they're trying to cut every possible frame that they can and take wild risks for the one God run. But in a one run scenario where you're racing, especially in a championship, you need to protect yourself a little bit. So Zos, let's put it this way: this is no disrespect to Lynx at all. Lynx is, as I mentioned before, a monster player. Okay, but right now, like this second, Zost is definitely the king of any percent. Zost can run multiple safeties and still crush just about everybody. So I'm not trying to curse him or anything, but it wouldn't surprise me for him to pick up maybe an extra missile pack, if not two, and maybe even an extra energy tank. I am kind of curious if he'll run the KPDR. or excuse me, the Kraid second is what I meant to say, instead of the traditional new route. But I think we'll only see him make that call once they get to gravity suit and he sees if he's ahead or not. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's about when you got to make the call. There's a couple minor different supers become more important than e tanks or energy. If you do Ridley second, if you do Kraid second, you do have to be a little bit more concerned about your health. A couple ways to manage that. Usually not too big of a deal. So yeah, he can make the call relatively late. Like I said, I didn't get to ask him last time, so I wasn't sure if he made that call on the fly or just when was planning out the entire time. But like you said, Lynx is he's sixth, and I think it just shows you how big the gap is between Zoast and pretty much everyone else. That he's racing the 6th overall player at 90%, and Zoast is still a pretty heavy favorite in this match.
He is, but then again, it's a race. It's only one run. We'll see what happens. It should be fun. We'll kind of spare you guys explaining the nuances of doing Kraid second instead of Ridley, unless it happens. If it does happen, we'll talk a little bit more extensively about it. But for now, I'm just going to assume that they're both going to run, new route, and we'll go from there.
So I still main the Kraid second, so I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, it's in my opinion, it's a really good way. First of all, if you're brand new to Super Metroid speedrunning, I don't recommend running Fantune first. You can, some people can, but it usually takes a lot more practice on the front end to kind of get to the point where you can complete runs. But once you start transitioning into Fantune first, I do think it's a pretty good idea to try to run Kraid second for a little while. You get some extra items and whatnot, makes it a lot safer. You can finish a lot of runs, get some good experience. So it is something that I do like to see people do.
Yeah, we did see the two different main strategies in the climb. Most people are probably more familiar with the wall jump strat that Zoast did. Lynx did do the kind of like the center strat, kind of popularized by Behemoth. If you're not really a fan of the wall jump strat, so it really showed. I mean, it just showed right there. But they both did it perfectly, and pretty much were entirely tied the entire time. Lynx
Yeah,
slightly ahead of these bombs.
To your point, they also had a different parlor, which is the room after the climb. I've mentioned this many times on commentary, but I'll say it again here. One of my favorite things about Super Metroid is the physics and the movement and the boss strats there's so much depth to it that there really is a lot of room for interpretation and creativity. And even amongst the top runners, you're not going to see everybody run the exact to the T strat in every room. And I kind of made the joke the other day, but I'm being serious. Like, you could probably hand me 5 runs and not tell me who it is, and I could watch and probably figure it out. So it's really neat to watch the nuances of different strats and how people handle different circumstances.
Yeah, and we can just kind of there's it's rare when Zoast is effectively tied with someone, even this early in a run. So you can just see how good of a player Lynx is. I mean, that first segment up to bombs is incredibly difficult. And these guys are 10 seconds, 15 seconds ahead of where I get to it, and I'm kind of like a mid-tier runner at this point, I guess. So yeah, just seeing anyone keep up with Zoast at all is really impressive. Really shows their skill.
Yeah, unfortunately, Lynx had to slow down just a bit, but still, a sub 610 elevator is very nice. He had to slow down just a bit after Bomb Torizo because he actually got hit at the end of the fight, and then the drop spread wasn't very favorable, and he didn't have full missiles going into Terminator, so he ended up having to manage that a little bit, but he's in good shape now. So as just about every run, not every single category, but almost all, of the Super Metroid speedrunners do. We're getting our first sort of sequence break here with the early Super Pack, which obviously lets us avoid fighting Spore Spawn, and using that great mock ball tech, which we will see again in the run, to maintain that run speed, and also obviously a small hitbox to get under those gates. And this is going to be, pretty straightforward right now. They're going to go into Big Pink here, grab probably the charge missiles, the charge beam. Then after that, they'll get ready to head up to get their first power bomb pack before going to wreck ship. So let me ask you this, Doug. You've done some races. Going for a PB versus having the pressure of a bunch of people watching you and racing somebody, it's a different experience. So what are you, especially in the earlier portions of runs like this, what's kind of going through your mind?
I mean, for me, like especially for tournament stuff, I'm not going to be winning most of these, so I try to treat them mostly like PB attempts. Just try to have a good run, that sort of thing. Like I guess it's a little bit later, maybe like it's an early round. I'm favorite. Uh, Once the run kind of starts getting off the rails a little bit, I might slow down a little bit and play a little safer. But I don't come into it planning on playing much different usually.
A little bit unfortunate here. It looks like you're a little bit louder than me, which I'm sure nobody wants because they would prefer for me to be way louder than you. But that's okay. We'll deal with it for now. One thing that Zoast just did that was a little bit faster there is a lot of times these rooms there's just little tiny nuances. He was able to take a shot before the Ripper really got out of the way, and then immediately go up, whereas Lynx waited for a moment, which is what a lot of the players do. And so even something like that might save 20 or 30 frames or something like that. Obviously those things really add up by the end. And even though Lynx is playing very, very well, okay, this is a very good power bomb style, Zoast is kind of really showing his elite level play. One cool thing, he was able to already be full on supers there, so he got a little extra energy pack. I wasn't seeing what happened to Lynx, but Lynx is taking, I hope he didn't run into that caterpillar. Lynx has a lot less energy here than is typical.
Yeah, I mean 108's not terrible. He should be fine here. He's still at 2 hits for Fantoon. So unless he gets really bad Fantoon RNG, probably will be okay. But yeah, well, as you were saying, like running against Zoast, like he's just going to be kind of making up time on you. Like,
hey, by the way, I'm sorry, Duck, but we got to point this out. He's got the CWJ frame.
Oh,
Zoast does. Perfect. Lynx does not have it. He's going to have to horizontal bomb jump. And even though he's very good at it, this is kind of I was just about to say, this is kind of a nerve-wracking trick. And if you fall in, you lose a lot of time. And even if you get the bomb jump versus the CWJ, it's still a couple seconds. So hopefully Lynx will get across right here. There we go. Much better. That's a very, very hard trick. It doesn't look hard, but I promise you it is. But Zoast is starting to put a little bit of distance between himself. But anyway, I'm sorry for interrupting you. What were you saying?
Well, I was ironically going to say Zoast is probably going to be making up just frames in every room. Just going to be taking the lead in every room. But there's opportunities to make big mistakes in any percent. Unfortunately, Lynx is the one who ended up making the. I'm going to say big mistake, like you said. It's just, man, that room is nerve-wracking. Like especially if you're on a good pace. I swear to God, I do that bomb jump like 20 times before a run, and then I fail it every single time.
Yeah, mode is.
I can only imagine in a finals,
So anyway, we've got Fantoon here, and as I'm sure everybody can see, even if you're not super familiar with Super Metroid speedrunning, neither player has very much firepower right now. So they're going to rely on what we call a Doppler strat, which is going to use regular missiles, and if you fire them at a certain tempo, you can stop Fantoon from closing his eye, and you can kind of keep him on screen. So Zoast had a nice Doppler on the first round. Essentially what you're hoping to do on an average fight here is get 10 on the first round, and then 9 on the second round, where the last one is a super. Unfortunately, Zoast had 2 slows and was not able to close out the fight, but he should have it here pretty easily. In fact, he's just gonna, yeah, there you go. He's got it done with a 3 round. I think Lynx is also starting off with a slow here. Let's see if he can wrap up the 2 round.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, that's unfortunate. One other thing you can notice is Zoast was also going for on-screen kills. Went for that a Doppler on screen on the first one, and then did the air Doppler. Saved a little bit more time over. Lynx was letting him go off screen. But it adds another, just because Fantoon is on the screen, you just have a little bit less room to do it, and then for some of the patterns you kind of have to do those air Dopplers, which are pretty tricky. I don't know if you mess with the air Dopplers at all, but every time I've tried, I've got like 1, and then he goes away.
Yeah, I've messed with it a little bit, and it's definitely more difficult. I haven't added it into my repertoire yet, but I do want to point out a couple things, and I'm sorry if I overload y'all with information, but take a look at the power bomb count of both players real quick. Power bombs are not the end-all be-all at the end of Fantoon, but having 4 at this juncture of the run right here, because they already laid one on the way out, is phenomenal. Okay, this is a really good situation. Zoast is also running pretty much the most aggressive attic that you can, and a little hiccup there at the end versus what he normally wants to do, but he's still doing a good job. Lynx, on the other hand, just barely missed the clip to jump through at the bottom. And let's take a look at his attic. The attic is actually possibly the most important room other than moat in the first maybe 15 minutes of the game. I like what Lynx is doing here. He was using a slightly different strat than Zoast. It used a few more supers, but it also, was probably a little more comfortable, and he was able to farm up a few missiles. So both runners doing a great job so far. Zoast entering the bowling room and does a great job of making it over without issue.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they both have pretty good ammo counts here. Looks at 7 supers and 3 power bombs. Zoast at 10 and 3. Although if Zoast is doing crate first, because you get the E-tank and you kill the frogs or whatever they're called. I'm so bad at the lore names. You just get all your power bombs there. So for crate second, your power bomb count doesn't matter too much. The only thing that really matters is you want one to blow up the tube, and then you can also do the power bomb reduction strat on Kraid.
Right, and when Duck says the ammo's pretty good, what he means is Zoast has literal god ammo right now. Getting gravity, and this is not an exaggeration, grabbing the gravity suit while holding 10 supers is like completely absurd. This is like maybe one in, I don't know, like 50 runs or something. He got really lucky super drops in the room before bowling. Lynx's ammo is also solid. It's definitely not god mode. It's more along the lines of pretty good. But the power bombs are really nice. They're not going to have to consider power bomb drops pretty much on their way to Lower Norfair, because they're pretty much going to run into everything they need.
Yeah, so it's not even bothering to farm that one power bomb that dropped there. Normally that's one you would look to get if you're a little bit lower. But yeah, this ammo is ridiculous. Just 3 supers short, or 3 missiles short from basically being full, and that doesn't even really matter all that much. Yeah, you can see Zoast is skipping the farm. If he is doing crate second, you pretty much always skip that farm, no matter what. But with 10 supers, you would also be skipping it. Lynx, I think most people use 8 for the breakpoint. Like I said, I don't really run Ridley second, so I don't really have a good demarcation for when to skip this or not.
Well, it's a little complicated because farming both of these cacks in this room. See, Lynx is actually only farming one, but farming both, I think, takes about, I want to say about 50 frames each. So you're losing about a second and 40 frames. So anyway, you can, let's imagine you get real bad super drops and you get into that room. You can farm on the way down, but some people still elect to skip them and just hope to get like a god farm later in Norfair after Speed Booster. So there's actually, this is going to sound a little crazy, but it's true. All the way from Fantoon drops to Lower Norfair is actually kind of one big chain of events that leads to what you're going to look like with ammo. And depending on how aggressive you want to play it, you can gain or lose time by doing extra farming. But the flip side is you can gain or lose some of that time back later. So it's very, the ammo situation in this game can be pretty complex when it comes to time. Zoast did opt to go straight down to Norfair, so he will be running Ridley second. We got a true new route run here, and so he will not have any extra safeties, probably other than the wave missiles when he heads down to fight Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably, I didn't quite see what the time is, but I think he's just about 20 seconds ahead right now, which is what crate second more or less costs, just kind of as a ball. Again, it depends a lot on drops and everything on the way out, but usually about 20 seconds is where it is. So maybe saying that Lynx is just that close to him at this point, deciding to go for Ridley. It is, again, more risky. Zoast has obviously done it hundreds of times, so not really scary for him, but stuff can always happen. It is a dangerous route to take.
Another mock ball here by Zoast to grab this ice beam. Obviously, you are intended in the game to have the speed booster at that point to make it past those gates. But he's going to grab it here, He's going to try to farm one, and then, oh man, I'm telling y'all, that strat that Zoast just ran is very difficult. It's a lot easier to try to shoot two of them and then deboost off the third. You have to be very quick to deboost off the second one, and he did a great job. Another one of my favorite strats is coming up here. This is a cool strat in almost every category. We're going to try to get these ice freezes and then a exit mock ball out of here. Very nice.
Yeah, that ice escape is pretty tricky to learn. Not too terribly bad once you kind of get into your fingers, but definitely something I spent a lot of time practicing before I got it anywhere near consistent.
And see, the cool thing, like, it's probably hard to tell if you're just kind of watching this for the first time, but Lynx and Zoast actually did that ice escape slightly differently. And Lynx did a good job there. I was, well, hold on. Zoast just, there's too many things happening. Zoast just did right side Bubble Mountain, which is really, really hard to do. Definitely the fastest strat for that room. But in the meantime, Lynx was doing a slightly different strat on the ice escape. But then he also was able to exit without losing his momentum. Sometimes if you don't exit that room correctly or stand in the wrong spot, you can actually like get caught up on one of the little ledges. It's hard to explain. Zoast got caught up on it and lost about a second. Lynx was able to nail it, which was cool. Really neat ice climber strat there too by Lynx in Bubble Mountain. That's a great strat.
These farms for Zoast, I think he just got 3 or 4 supers on that one farm.
And yeah, he's having god drops for sure.
That is amazing. Yeah.
This is like, you know, obviously he's not on a world record pace right now or anything because of the fan tune and all that. And also, like, you know, he's picking up wave missiles. But, like, the drops in this run, I'm not exaggerating. These drops are like world record god mode drops.
Yeah, I think anyone who runs this route is salivating at these drops right now.
Lynx just barely missing that deboost on the orb there. But this is one of the coolest parts about New Route, in my opinion. You don't really see. Oh, that was such a fantastic deboost by Zoast there too. But you don't really see people go this direction very often in this game. He's actually running reverse through this volcano section. And what's interesting about this room is that technically it's supposed to start the volcano process when you enter from the other way. But since he entered from the back way, it doesn't trigger and it's already filled with lava. But we're about to see one of the biggest and arguably one of the most difficult tricks in this run. He's going to attempt the lava spark to get up to Lower Norfair. So let's see how it goes. Perfect.
Yeah, very nicely done. It's just the round of lava spark. It's like 3 not incredibly difficult things back to back to back, but you know, even if each one of them was only like 95%, it's like you got to do all 3 in a row. You got to get, or it's really 4 with the deboost, honestly. You got to get the short charge, which isn't too tight, but can be a little tricky. Then you got to get the charge the spark right on the edge there, so you have enough time. Then you got to get the deboost, and then you get the, I believe 4-frame shine up. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, Lynx, you know, arguably the easiest part, that deboost. Misses it, so he's going to take a lot of damage here. Not what you want in a race setting. Not what you want in any setting.
The problem, well, I need to be careful here because Zoast is in worst room in the game, and he actually has a little bit less energy than what I would expect him to have here. Just slightly. But no, yeah, oh man, yeah. All right, go. You can go ahead and tell us what happened, and then I'll explain part of the issue.
Yeah, I didn't even... so he was going for the gravity jump backup, which is normal. I thought he got the first one. I didn't see. I just noticed him down at the bottom. But yeah, 13 health here is not what you want. And I'm not even sure what the plan is here, to be quite honest.
Yeah, this is tricky because he's not going to be able to. First of all, he can't get hit by a single thing all the way to, you know, basically to the like the metal pirates or whatever, which technically if he survives this, he should pick up the Firefleet E-Tank, in my opinion, just to survive. But part of the problem with this energy is he can't do a pillar spark in this room. So, this makes this a lot slower, but also here he's low on power bombs. This is his last power bomb. He's literally going to either have to pick up power bombs of shame or farm some in the Firefleet room. But if he gets touched by anything between now and a generous refill, he's going to die. I'll talk a little bit more about what happened to him in a minute, but right now it's a little bit more focused on what's happening. In the meantime, Zoast is doing a great job. Looks like he's going to keep going for it. But Zoast is doing okay, yeah. Lynx is doing the correct thing here. This is something you would never do on a PB attempt, because the second that you do this, your PB attempt is essentially over. But he's going to grab the safety of this Firefleet tank, and that is a really good decision. That will at least allow him to survive. In the meantime, Zoast about to pop a quad X Factor. Oh my God. Let's go.
I didn't even see that because I was transfixed on Lynx here. Yeah, I think if anything, the also being low on power bombs really sealed the deal for getting Firefleet E-Tank. You can get all the way down there without really taking any more damage, and then you get refill on the metal pirates. But the fact that you have to get power bombs of shame, like, I don't even know, is there even really a good strat to get over there in this mode? Like, usually like in Hundo or something, you have like screw attack, or old route you just have plasma. So
it's not a strat you work on now.
No, it is not. It's you just kind of face tank your way over there. He obviously did not have that option.
Dude, that Ridley fight was preposterously good. The Ridley fight is, I think just about any top level player will tell you, in this particular any percent route, it is an absolute must if you want to run like a super high elite time and get a great PB. And it can go off the rails very, very quickly. He absolutely destroyed that fight. And it's very difficult. It's a very difficult fight to get correct.
Yeah, another thing to mention is another safety Zoast could have potentially gone for is that Ridley E-Tank. Did have pretty good energy coming out of there, so he's going to go for it. But this LN escape, it's dangerous enough that it doesn't really matter how good you are. Sometimes bad things just happen. So, I mean, kind of once he gets out of LN escape, he's out of the worst of it. So we'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, Lynx in his Ridley fight came in here with almost perfect supers, just with 9. So pretty good setup for him.
You'll have to forgive me. I switched the audio to Zoast since he is in the lead. But yeah, Lynx is perfectly, comfortable with his amount of energy. So really right now, the main thing here is Zoast. The most likely thing stopping him from winning this race is going to be this next room. He does have, for his level, plenty of energy to get through here. He can basically take 2 hits. He's going to try to not get hit a single time. But the Three Musketeers is a room that can be very tricky. He does get hit once, but he's fine. And he should be good to go now.
Yeah,
so nicely done.
151 energy is a lot from me, so I felt pretty good about those games. That wall jump over that second key hunter, I haven't seen that before. That was really slick.
Yeah, for sure. You feel comfortable with less than 150 in that room? Like you feel like you're gonna nail it every time? Because every time I'm in there, I don't feel good about it.
I don't feel I'm gonna nail it every time. I'm just like, this is good. That's a good amount of energy.
I got you.
I don't think anyone's ever felt 100% comfortable in that room. You're always taking a deep breath. But yeah, it's about the best I can hope for.
Yeah, it's a good amount of energy. The only problem is that sometimes the room itself, it's almost like it doesn't matter how much energy you have, because if it goes wrong, it goes like horribly wrong. So luckily for Zoast there, he didn't have any issues. Lynx is going to be on his way out. He did not pick up the Ridley tank. He didn't need it. This is a really cool strat I didn't get to talk about when Zoast did it a minute ago, but that reverse wasteland exit is a really interesting, cool strat. You get to clip through the statue, you get to do a deboost, then you get to use your iframes to short charge through the Disgigas and then get a speedball. It's a really complex room, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Zoast coming into is kind of why, well, one of the reasons why Kraid third is faster, because you do come in here with speed. The other reason is just the ammo management makes a little bit more sense. The ammo route, like if you've only run old route, like the ammo management in new route is like an order of magnitude more complicated. There's a lot more going on. One of the big things you got to get used to.
What are these drops, man?
I don't know. Like this is not. It's not fair for the best player in the world to get these drops in a finals. Like that shouldn't be allowed.
The one problem though is his energy, because if he doesn't get some energy on the way out of here, which he won't from, or he shouldn't, unless it's like some 1% chance, he shouldn't get any energy from mini Kraid. And then depending on what the Zelos drop, but he actually might end up having to run a strat in Everest here in a little bit in Meridia to where he can't shine spark. So everything's been God mode on the ammo, but this energy is actually not overly convenient.
Yeah, he can either the shine spark or there's a couple of farming strats you can
grab. Are you serious, dude?
Get all of those ammo. Jeez, like that's. I feel like we should type in chat that he just has to throw like 3 supers into a wall right now, like to make it more fair.
Let's see if he got the 1 frame. I think it's a 1 frame. Oh, excellent jump there. Fastest way to get through that room. Might not be 1 frame, but it's still very, very tight. So now he can shine spark in this room and still have enough to tank a hit from Botwin without having too much issue. So yeah, he's still moving in superb shape. Look, I don't know what his splits are because I'm not looking at his stream, and I'm one of those people where it's like I just don't. Dude, I couldn't even tell you my own splits. Like I don't know what time I'm supposed to be where. I just play the game. But I'm telling you, just eyeball test. This looks like it could be a 41 potential pace.
Oh, I think this is a 41 easily right now. With really the only problem he's had is that third round Fantoon. Like, what else has gone wrong for him? Like, he's had these amazing drops. He had that Ridley fight. Like, lower Norfair has been clean. Like, I really haven't seen like him slowing down at any point. And like, he just. I feel bad for Lynx, but again, Lynx is just an amazing player, and you know, just honestly, just to survive the things that he had to go through to get that Firefly E-tank and everything, and still just be alive in this match is amazing. And Zoast is just putting on a clinic.
He is. Lynx had a really cool strat on the way out from Kraid a second ago as Zoast gets to pull halfy there. Sometimes, like, some of the more difficult strats are maybe, like, not super obvious to the casual eye. But that deboost to land on the final platform that Lynx did there was actually pretty tight. He did a great job there. He's looking really good on ammo and energy too. The only problem is he has a few less regular missiles, but technically that should not be a problem. More than likely, he's going to be able to not have to shoot any regular missiles for a little while. Probably will get some from Botwoon and then maybe even some from the Puyos. But the flip side is that since he's already got 3 energy tanks, he could elect to skip the Botwoon tank and run right past those. So we'll have to wait and see. So far, Zoast having a very, very clean Dragon. This should do it. Perfect. And I bet you that he will get the spike suit here too.
Why'd you say that? What?
Because I knew it would happen.
I mean, I don't care how good you are at that trick. It's
what?
Still
Are these drops? I'm sorry, Duck. I can't. I cannot, like, I run a lot of new route, and I cannot believe these preposterous drops, dude. Are you kidding me?
Six supers at this point is a lot. Like, it is just a ridiculous amount of supers. I'm sure Lynx is gonna be coming out with 0 or something like that. Like.
Lynx's best option here is probably to farm, like doing maybe, okay, he is going to get the energy tank, which means he's more than likely going to get at least 2 or 3 missiles here to get up to 14 or 16. He might get a power bomb drop too. But yeah, he should be. He's going to be in perfectly fine shape.
Surprised he got the. He was at. He was only 20 health short from a normal 3 tank run. He may have been planning. Ooh, the left spark is honestly the worst way to fail that. That's unfortunate. He may have just been planning to run 4 tank, or he, because of what happened, kind of probably knows where he is against Zoast. Like I said, Zoast ran a 42.36, which is only 30 seconds slower than LynxX's PB in his last race. So, like, it's possible to beat Zoast, any of these players, any of the guys in the top of the bracket, Sloters, Cutie, you even. But like, it's just like you have to have a perfect run, and like really bad things happen to Zoast, and unfortunately they're happening to Lynx in this run.
Yeah, well, it's a couple things. Don't feel too bad for Lynx there on that full halfy kind of early spark. Sometimes sometimes the space pirates are doing construction on that gray door, and you can actually bust through it if it's a little weak, and you can go over and get an early plasma. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be here. But yeah, unless I'm mistaken, in terms of tournament matches, I don't think Zoast has lost in any percent tournament race since the end of 2018, somewhere around Thanksgiving of 2018. And how do I know that? Because I was the person that did it. And the only way that I did it was because he died. So, yeah, it's been a long time since he's lost one.
Yeah, honestly, like, just from Lynx missing that the spike suit, this is like, if you just picked an 80% run out of a hat, this is kind of what it looks like. We're just like, things are just, you're playing pretty well. You had that nice little save in the middle with the Firefly E-Tank, missing spike suit. Like, this is what the average run really looks like. Zoast is just, he makes the average run look good, and it really isn't for most players.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to hype this up beyond, I'm not a big fan of like trying to make something seem more crazy than it is, but I'm being very sincere. This run by Zoast right now, for a singular, like no ability to reset, have to finish the run, this is a very, very, very top-notch run. Even for him, I think he would tell you that for a singular one race scenario, this has been quite good.
Yeah, I'm being crazy. He actually did get the spikes. I saw him spark up, which usually means you got the bad frame, but he sparked up after getting the blue suit. So I just misread it.
Little bit of a scary moment right there where he wasn't able to get the Metroids off at first, but he should be good. Hopefully, no super drop from that first Metroid in here. He didn't get any super drops at all. Look at the face that he's making right now. That's terrible. He got 0 supers in the third room. He needs at least 3 right here. Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. That's terrible.
Honestly, I don't have any sense. The amount of drops he got in the rest of the run, I don't really have much sympathy. But yeah, I mean, it shows you, like, no matter how good your drops were, if your drops aren't good in Metroid, your run's just over.
Yeah, and sorry to mention myself again, but my current PB got robbed and I had to refill. So I'm still salty about it. So anytime I see it happen to somebody else, it kind of triggers me a little bit.
It's a really nice pace if that's your PB and a refill.
Yeah, you'd think I'd be able to beat it, right?
Yeah, and it happens a lot, or it's you have a really, like, a kind of a dumb mistake or something like that happens in your PB. It's like, oh, this PB should be free, and then it just takes months for whatever reason.
Yeah, man, me not getting super drops from the Metroids was definitely a dumb mistake.
It's a dumb mistake or luck.
But anyway, Zoast had a very nice skip there. He lost a few seconds from that Metroid thing. Again, it's hard for me to tell, but this still, to me, I think, could potentially be a 41 pace. Like, this is crazy. Hopefully we don't have any other weird issues happen, like Zeb skip. Okay, thank you.
Zeb skip's one of those things that is just like, it doesn't matter how many times you do it. Every once in a while, it just goes wrong, and you feel very dumb.
All right, so this is sort of the last major hurdle for Zoast here. The Mother Brain 2 fight is not insanely difficult. However, there are times where she can give you some very awkward patterns, and it is not completely out of the question to take more damage than you're anticipating, especially since those onion rings. Really, the onion rings are the most dangerous thing in a prolonged Mother Brain 2 fight because they do 20 damage each. And they do not, if I recall correctly, allow you to have any iframes or whatever, so you can get chained if you jump into them the wrong way. So hopefully he'll just, be able to kind of relax and do his thing. He's going to have 60 shots. Once he gets to shot 46, that's past the 75% marker, Mother Brain will begin to use the catch-up red beam attack. And at that point, usually the fight is a little bit easier for the final 14 shots, but we'll see.
Yeah, and he did a nice little manipulation there. Fell onto the very middle of that bomb explosion. With gravity suit, that'll do 0 damage. That is one way of avoiding damage in this fight. But yeah, like this fight seems straightforward, but like honestly, it's the biggest reason to 4-tank it in a tournament race, just because like one slip of the finger, and you could just it runs over right here. It actually turns out I always feel like it's a little safer once you're into the catch-up phase. Just those big shots are pretty easy to avoid. But it's the transition that will kill you. So Zoast getting through it with absolutely no problems, taking no damage there. So that was pretty much all that's standing in between him and taking this tournament down.
That's right. Lynx, on the other hand, as being pointed out in chat, has had a very excellent Torian. So very clean. Looks like he hasn't had any trouble with drops. He had a double attempt there at the Zeb skip. Sometimes Zeb skip, it's like it's one of the first kind of major tricks that you learn, and it's not super difficult, but honestly, like it still can be awkward sometimes, which we saw tonight. So even the best players in the world, like Lynx or Zoast, are not completely immune to having an accidental, small mistake or something like that. But the crazy thing about Lynx's run is he has had a lot of problems, like drastic issues, like the one going into lower Norfair and whatnot, and he's still running a very strong time. He's going to run a time, assuming he gets through this Mother Brain 2 fight, that a lot of runners out there wish they could run. So
yeah, he's going to beat my PB easily.
Yeah, he's still
a minute or two
doing a great job.
I mean, like, he had a bunch of like little mistakes, but like his run overall was pretty clean. I mean, Moat and Fantoon happens to everyone. Really, it was just the lava dive disaster that really cost him a good chunk of time. Besides that, his run has actually been pretty solid. Again, just 6 overall and 80% right now. Just fantastic player. Just when you're on the same screen as Zoast, it's Zoast has made a lot of players look worse than they actually are.
I think. Oh, go ahead. Well, it's not here. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk too long about this, but I actually think it's not that Zoast makes players look bad. It's that other people don't realize how good the other players are. As with a lot of speed runs, people are going to focus on like the very top runners, and for good reason. And Zoast deserves that, but at the same time, I think people don't understand like what kind of level he's actually operating at and how difficult it is. It's almost kind of like watching, I don't know, one of the guys on the All-Star team in the NBA play, and you think they're trash because they're not LeBron or something. Like, that's pretty silly. So, real quick, I think Zoast is either going to get a 41.59 or a 42 flat or a 1. Like, this is going to be incredibly tight, like, to get a 41. But he's still technically alive for it. I don't know if there's enough time, though. I think that Metroid super drop fiasco could potentially stop it, but he's got a chance. This is going to be very tight.
Yeah, and this that parlor with the shaking camera is deceptively difficult. Zoast just having no problems with it. Yeah, it's really gonna come down when it gets up. There it is. Everyone's favorite.
Look at that. He got it, man.
48. You didn't even say if 48 was possible.
Clearly, I doubted him. But
yeah.
GG to Zoast for being the SG Live 2020 Super Metroid 80% champion with an official time of 41:59.
Yeah. Yeah, right there. It looked like I think the actual time would have been I saw a 58 when Samus was facing forward, but yeah, official time is going to be that 59. Still, I mean, running a 41 in a tournament setting is ridiculous. There's only been 5 people to get one ever. Yeah, an incredible time.
It would not have been very long ago in Super Metroid, history that if you would have told somebody, we're going to have a player that has a slow mid 3-round fan tune, and also isn't going to get enough drops in the Torian where they're going to have to refill in the 4th room more than once, and they're going to miss Zeb Skip 3 times, and it's going to be a 41. No one would have believed you. Like, nobody would have believed you.
To be fair, between Fantoon and Turing, he had to get absolute god drops to get all that, at least that far. But
yeah, and he killed it. I mean, for him to run a 41 like that in a 1-run scenario with an audience where he has not even really been practicing, just any percent a ton lately, exclusively, is so good. Lynx, on the other hand, is also... Like, if you look at the time he's about to finish with, given what he had to go through in this run, this is very good. Like, this is a very good time for all of the things he had to go through to even survive. And I'm actually extremely proud of him, not only because he adapted on the fly. It's really hard to do that sometimes. But secondly, it's like he didn't give up. He could have just sulked and said, well, I'm just going to try to make it to the Metal Pirates, and then took a death and just quit. Instead, he did what he needed to do to finish, and I got to give him huge props for that. He's had a great tournament. He deserves to finish his 2nd place behind Zoast, and he beat a lot of great competition on the way here, so great job to him as well.
Yeah, just outstanding run. This time is lower than my goal time, much less my PB. So, just outstanding run by Lynx. Yeah, GG's to him. Really, had to defeat you and Cutie to get to this point, which is really tough competition. So he's really been playing a lot. Real close to that goal time of getting to that 41.
Yeah, he's gonna get a 41 any day now. I'm confident in it. But congratulations to Lynx again for getting 2nd place, and we'll see if we can get either of these guys in for an interview. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to bring Super Metroid. We had 3 tournaments in this event for SG Live 2020, and that's going to bring our portion of the event to a close. Doug did tell me earlier that SMZ3 is still going on, and that's cool, but obviously that's a little bit different than the Super Metroid speedrunner stuff that's been happening. So we're very, very happy to have been a part of SG Live 2020. I was at SG Live 2019 in person. We had a blast together. And even though we had, some different circumstances this year that we had to overcome, I'm very pleased with the product that we were able to put out. And I want to give a big thank you to all of the players that participated in all of our tournaments. And then also everybody at SG, at SpeedGaming, admin. I can tell y'all behind the scenes, these people, you're not going to find anybody who's working harder than they are. And not only that, but they're just really great people. So I really appreciated the ability to work with them over this process. And before we get into the interview here, I also want to give a final shout out to my co-organizer, Tracy M. Tracy put in just a really a ton of work for all 3 of these tournaments, both before the tournament started and also during. So big shout out to Tracy, who works extremely hard. And a big shout out to our entire Super Metroid community, which I'm pretty biased, but I think we got the best one on the internet. So love you guys. All right. So we've got with us LynxX Unlimited. Lynx, obviously, I'm going to speak to you as a runner first. I know that this particular run is not exactly what you were hoping for the finals, but I think you have a ton to be proud of because you managed incredibly difficult situations under pressure as well as I could possibly imagine you handling them. So I want to say congratulations on a fantastic tournament, and I'm really proud of the way that you played tonight. Tell us a little bit about how your run felt to you.
Yo, hey, Kip, what's up? Hey guys. Well, first of all, GG's to Soast. He deserves uh, he deserves the tournament. He's the best. He played really well. So congrats to him. Well, it really sucks that I did those mistakes at the lava spark. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed of how that turned out, but yeah, I just wanted to finish the run anyway. So yeah, nothing else that you can do in that situation. That's PRKD. You know, also keep how it is.
I certainly do. And sometimes I think people get a little spoiled watching runners like you and Zoast do so many runs because the run is actually razor thin. I mean, like the smallest mistake can end up being death. And so to watch you go through a very difficult situation with that lava spark and then, gravity jump and then managing your energy was very, very impressive. I was really very happy to see how you handled it. And then the rest of your run was really strong. You had a great Ridley fight and you had a bunch of other great strats along the way and a really strong Torian too. So um, you are very, very close to running a 41, which is really, really difficult time to achieve in this game. Tell us a little bit, since now that the tournament's over, and I'm sure you're going to get kind of back to the grind. Tell us a little bit about what you're working on and how you're trying to get to that number.
Well, I think I just need to string out all the the segments together. I've been pretty close to the 41 a bunch of times now, so it's just a matter of time and just get the good run and the good RNG, and yeah, I'm gonna be working on that. Hope to get the 41 before the end of the year.
Excellent. Well, we'll all be rooting for you, man. Congratulations again. We are now joined by any percent tournament champion Zoast, and Zoast, we got several things to ask you.
Uh-oh.
But before we get all super deep on it, I have to know, what does it feel like to have the most god drops possible all run long, and then only to be robbed at the end?
I shouldn't be surprised. That's the way this game seems to work a lot of times. If you have like a great early game, then Fantune will give you a terrible pattern. If you have great drops, until the end, then Metroids are gonna short you. I mean, like, I was not surprised. I was a little frustrated, of course, but I was not surprised.
We all felt the eye roll. It was the eye roll heard around the world.
There were some crazy drops. I think I got like 5 drop from wave or speed bugs. Or at least a 4 drop.
I think it was 4 because I was like I thought it was 4. I'm like, that can't be 4. It had been 3. But and looking back, I think it was actually 4.
Yeah, I think I had 6. So I think it had to have been 4.
Yeah, there are like 5 moments in the run where I could basically be like, oh my God, he got god drops. But the one that broke me, that I just had to laugh, was when you got 2 large energies and a small energy from the Zeelas on the way out from Kraid. And I was like, this guy's unstoppable. He's getting everything.
No, that was really good. Yeah, because I could do the Spark and Mount Doom then. And that was a very fortunate drop. Yeah. The supers on the pirate coming out of Lower North Fair was really nice too, because I didn't need that much energy. And having that, they did drop like 4, like the one I farmed dropped like 4 or 5 supers, which was nice considering I didn't need that much energy, and I had like 2 supers at the time or something.
Well, I know we're kind of having fun here, but I do want to ask you kind of a serious question because, with all seriousness, the level of play that you just demonstrated. I mean, you had a couple of kind of like, how Super Metroid can be kind of spiky, like, you get a tough Fantune pattern, it adds a ton of time. Yeah. And then you have to reload a room for supers, that adds a ton of time. But like, other than those 2 things, your run was absolutely absurd for a 1-run scenario in a race. I mean, running a 41 in this context with those things in it is very, very impressive. Can you just tell us a little bit about, it seems like you're still in the zone. How are you feeling about your 80% play?
Yeah, I don't think I'm like cool. I maybe lost like 1% or 2 of my skill since I stopped grinding for the record, grinding that down. But I'm still like fresh enough to where with some practice, I feel like I should be able to get a low 41 if I was like actually doing runs pretty easy, or like relatively easy. I'm still like pretty fresh on it all because like I spent nearly a full year just grinding the heck out of that category and like cleaning everything up as best I could and just hammering my execution. So yeah, there's definitely still some freshness, from all that. But yeah, except for the like fan tune and like Zeb skip and a couple of things like that, it was pretty darn clean for the most part.
Excellent.
I was happy with it.
Well, I'm glad, man. Y'all put on a great show. I'm really happy for both of y'all, and I really enjoyed the race. I'm going to let Duck ask any questions that he wants to ask, and then Lynx and Zoast, when he is done asking your questions, you guys can have the final word to kind of wrap this up. But I just want to say thank y'all for participating. It's been great watching y'all's races.
Thank you again, Kip, for commentating. You too, Duck.
Yeah, no problem. I guess the only question I really had for Kip was, or not for Kip, for Zoast was, the last run against Sloaters, you ran Kraid second. You ended up actually picking up 25 missiles, and this one you kind of ran, except for picking up 20 missiles, pretty much ran what you normally would do with like a Ridley second. I don't know if like that was like a strategy change you made in between, or you were watching both of the races. Just that was like general thought process into like safeties.
I was
over both races, I guess.
Yeah, I was watching both races. It looked like Sloaters was going to be. It's hard to tell, but it looked like Sloaters was having a good run before he died, and he's pushing his run. So I don't know. Maybe that was a possible mistake waiting to happen on Sloaters, but I thought for the finals and his Lynx is like really fresh on 80% and really good. That I just like planned on doing PRKD. I could have probably tried to do Kraid first. I did have a lead coming out of Grav, but I didn't want to, like, for the finals especially, and like giving the opponent, and I kind of decided for the finals that I was just going to do PRKD. I mean, not that my other opponents couldn't, but like if I would have been behind on Sloaters or any of my previous races coming out of Grav suit, I probably would have switched over to Ridley, before Kraid as well. But
yeah, we were talking that you can make that audible fairly late.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess the only thing I have to say to Lynx is, you said you were a little disappointed with that Gravity, but honestly, like the most impressive thing about that run was the fact that you didn't die. Like I was going, like I don't know how you even survived this, because you can't do the spark and you have so little energy, you can't even really get through the pillar room. So getting through the pillar room and keeping your cool, third worst room in the game, all the way down to Fire Flea, and then like the rest of the run was just great. You had the little bit of unfortunate luck of that run being next to Zoast, and then Zoast just being on a outstanding run. So definitely want to say GG's to you, and to definitely not feel bad about any of that.
Yeah, thanks guys. So again, GG's. It was a great race, and I love competition, and I like to race against the best, and you're the best, so I had a blast. Congrats again.
Thank you, Lynx. GG. I was hoping Fantune was going to treat you better than me, but it didn't look like it happened that way.
What was your patterns?
I got a slow, and I tried to air Doppler. I missed my air Doppler, so I got slow mid. Yeah,
I got a slow pass.
Yeah.
Fan does the same on races. It's incredible. GG's.
GG.
And I want to say GG's as well on the behalf of Speed Gaming. All of us who are working behind the scenes here at Speed Gaming want to congratulate Zoasty on winning this tournament. And thank you to everyone who ended up participating in this, and everyone who provided the commentary. Thank you to Kip and Apathy Duck for providing great commentary here for the exciting finals. And also special thanks to Tracy, who's getting ready to set up for the SMZ3 that's going on. I know Duck's heading on over there shortly. But special thanks to Tracy and Kip for putting this all together and helping to manage it in the background for all of us here at Speed Gaming. Do want to give a few shout outs here also to Superintendent Taylor, Maniacal, and Drunk Future Self, who are gold ticket purchasers here for this event, and also to the top donors that helped fund the cash prize that we're giving away here, Mind of Me and Jim Bean Diablo. And also big shout outs to everyone else who worked behind the scenes. But congratulations, Zoasty. Fantastic run.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for organizing the tournament, and again for the commentators and all the competition for being so great and friendly.
Absolutely. Any final words, Kip Apathy Duck?
No, thank you guys very much. It was a blast. I enjoyed it. And Duck, as always, it was fun hanging out with you, man.
Yeah, it was fun to be part of this tournament. As brief as my time with it was, well, I guess not the 90%, but the SM tournaments. So yeah, good time. Congrats again to Zoast and our other SM winners, TG Derp on Dab and Aussie on the SM Rando. So great players all around.
Great.
And I'll close with Rick. You're rad. Thank you so much for everything you do for Speed Gaming. And I don't know if you get enough credit. So thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And also GG's to Lynx on a great second place effort throughout this entire tournament. Great job.
Thank you.
That's not it. We have one more finals here on Speed Gaming. The Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer Finals is 14 minutes away. We have that coming up next here on Speed Gaming 1.